Much for joining, for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Firecrackers. You've missed quite a bit, but don't worry, you can catch up with us on our Facebook page. We stream live on Facebook. And now we are joined by Major Yaya Shinku, who is joining us live from Kaduna, Public Affairs Analyst. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us today on Firecrackers.
Yeah, good evening and well done.
Thank you. All right. So, from your own point of view, how was the local government chairmanship election in Kaduna yesterday? How did it go from your end over there?
Well, honestly speaking, I must state it very clearly that there was no election conducted in Kaduna State on the 19th October 2024. And rather, you cannot say it was a selection, but imposition. By implication, as we have earlier said, we have 255 wards in Kaduna State and 23 local government. It presupposes that there should be collection of results in the whole 255 wards and the result to be announced therein for the councillors. And equally for the local government chairman, where we have 23 local government, the results are supposed to be collected and announced at the local government level. But from what you have played now from the audio of the chairperson of the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, she has only pronounced a result being collected from returning officers of the various local government and wards, without mentioning what are the scores of each candidate for the councillors, what are the scores for each candidate for the chairmanship. In particular, for the election of chairmanship, you will have to score certain percentage of vote. At least you'll score 1/4 of the vote cast in 2/3 of the wards of that local government area. This has not been stated very clearly, and the names of the contestants have not been even mentioned. So from here, you will understand that it is not even possible. You have started dispatching your election material to the polling unit around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and the results were announced around 6. This is, honestly speaking, not acceptable. And as far as I'm concerned, what the governor has equally said is just his own view. And most especially, he has said it before that he will make sure, and he has assured all his people in the APC that his party will win all the 255 councillorship election, and including the 23 chairmanship. And this is exactly what had played in Kaduna State yesterday.
Governor, he said that things went peacefully and then there was no issues and things went relatively well. Could you say the same thing for how the election was conducted over there, even though you mentioned that there was no election conducted?
If it were useful, if it were peaceful election, at his own polling unit in Kao, people were shouting, Bama, Bama, so, meaning they don't want and they will not support what he is trying to do. And at the event, there was some fire shot up by his security men, where one child was, I think, has some injury. Maybe he has even died. So if the election were to be peaceful, as far as the way he has said it, I think there shouldn't be any casualty. That is one. Two, because people have decided now they should go out peacefully and condone themselves, that should not be taken as guaranteed or for granted. What we understand is the elections were supposed to have been conducted in the manner prescribed by the Electoral Act, not even the Kaduna State electoral law, because the Electoral Act is very clear. And permit me to refer you to Section 150 of the Electoral Act, particularly subsection 1, where it says very clearly that the procedure regulating local government council elections in Nigeria shall be the same as the procedure conducting area council election by INEC in FCT. That is one. Then two, in conducting the local government council elections in any state, the State Independent Electoral Commission shall be deemed to be exercising the powers of INEC at conducting election in area council. And three, it clearly also says that any election conducted by State Independent Electoral Commission, which is in violation of the provision prescribed in the Electoral Act, that election is invalid. And finally, it even says with emphasis that any electoral officer of a state who has violated any provisions of the electoral procedure enshrined in the Electoral Act shall be liable for prosecution as if he is an official of the Independent National Electoral Commission. So by implication, when you go by all the procedure for area council election, we shall apply with equal force at the area local government council election in Kaduna State. The election conducted ought to say, what you have purportedly said they have conducted is premature and in violation of the provisions of the Electoral Act. In fact, it is something that even before the conduct of the election, there are a lot of the procedures that have been flouted. As for example, it is the law that after collection of affidavit of candidate by the Independent Electoral Commission, it is mandatory for the commission to publish those particulars of candidate in the constituency where they are contesting within 7 days from the collection of those particulars of candidate. But up to the time of election, the State Independent Electoral Commission has refused to make that publication. So most of the candidates, and including the general public, are not aware who are the candidates, let alone for them to see if they have submitted proper document for them to contest the election, or if they have qualified or not. This is just one instant. And again, the electoral law also provides that the political parties shall have at least 150 days for campaigning. But from the day the notice of the election was issued on the 16th of July this year to the date of the election on the 19th, it is just 97 days. And equally, the publication of nomination form, which is said to be at least 150 days before the election, it was made only on the 20th of September for the election that was to be conducted on the 19th of October, which is just 30 days. And there are a lot of issues that if we were to start saying it, the time will not permit us to say it, honestly speaking. But one more important thing is in respect to the number of days between when the tenure of office of those in office will elapse to the date of the election. The Electoral Act has provided very clearly, as in the case of area councils in Abuja, that it should be at least 30 days before the expiration date of the present tenure of executive in office to the date of the election. So in this case, their tenure is elapsing on 31st of October. An election conducted on 19th of October, just 12 days to the expiration of that tenure. That's why we are saying the election is even premature. And there are a lot of things. They are supposed to use smart card reader for accreditation of voters. They have not made provision for that. They are supposed to use electronic voting system. They have not made that provision. There are a lot of loopholes and lacunas that we are supposed to have been checkmated by the Attorney General of the Federation, because he is the custodian of the Electoral Act 2022 as signed by the former President Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay, all right, very well. So, but very quickly before we let you go, because we've run out of time now. So the governor said that the people should accept the result that is proclaimed by the Kaduna State Electoral Commission. But now that you have differing opinion about how the election took place, and that the governor is saying that the people should accept whatever is proclaimed. So what is the next line of action now?
The next line of action is that the Electoral Act has already said it very clearly. Where election is conducted in violation of the procedures enshrined in the Electoral Act, that election is invalid. So we are taking our matter to the National Assembly and to the Office of the Attorney General. He should be outdoing. He is the custodian of the Electoral Act. He shouldn't allow the government to manipulate his office. It's like they are, on the other hand, trying to subsidize the powers of the President and Commander-in-Chief. This is a federal law, and it should be complied with. And equally, in a state where PDP presently has 3 senators and 10 out of 16 members at the House of Representatives, I'm sure if any other political party have accepted the result, the PDP will not accept it. And likewise, my own political party, People's Redemption Party, PRP, we have already started making an effort to see how we will challenge that election. It is not for the government to tell us to accept a result of election that has not been conducted. Assuming it has been conducted and they have rigged the election, maybe they have changed the result, that will have been a different thing entirely. But in this case, no election was conducted.
Thank you so much for being part of Firecrackers. I wish we could go on, but sadly we've run out of time. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
All right, and that's Major Yaya Shinku, who joined us live from Kaduna State, Public Affairs Analyst. Sadly, this is where we drawing the curtains close on today's episode of Firecrackers. We thank you so much for staying with us to the very end. My name is Iribami Salako. See you same time, same station next week. Do have a lovely week ahead.